Well, Steve Yates is a senior fellow at the Heritage Foundation, and he joins us now, along with Gordon Chang. Thank you both so much for joining. Author of Plan Red, China's project to destroy America. Gordon, what is your take on this hack? Now, the Biden administration, which swore that Joe Biden wouldn't pardon his son Hunter, they're telling us that all the material that China gained access to was unclassified. Do you believe them?
No, I don't. And the other thing is that a hack at the U.S. Treasury sends shudders not just through the U.S., but around the world because of the dollar, because of the U.S. financial markets. You know, we have known that the Chinese have been hacking our networks since the 1990s or maybe even before, and we have the means to stop this, but we don't. So this is an issue of American political will. We need better defenses on our networks, but we also need a political establishment willing to impose those costs on China for this unacceptable behavior. And I hope that come January 20, President Trump imposes those costs to get the Chinese to stop this, because it's getting very, very dangerous.
Well, and it seems very dangerous. Steve, what are your thoughts? I mean, you're hearing that the U.S. Treasury was hacked by China. I think Gordon's absolutely right. It should send shivers up every single American's spine. What are your thoughts?
Well, I agree very much with Gordon. And unfortunately, this is one of those things that just keeps happening. During the Obama administration, the Office of Personnel Management was hacked, and millions of American federal employees' information was compromised. That China has been relentless in sending all kinds of intrusive things into our country, from crazy balloons to drone swarms and who knows whatever else. If the U.S. Treasury is not secure, how confident can Americans be that their major infrastructure and other systems are secure? So the Trump administration is going to have an absolute mandate to take a very different approach to cybersecurity. And thankfully, the president has recruited an unusually informed and skilled team that really should know this stuff backwards and forwards. But America is late to this game. And China should be the one that's afraid that their systems are being compromised. We don't hear too many stories about them worrying about their infrastructure and their departments and ministries. Maybe it's about time the U.S. and our allies found ways to put them on the defensive.
Well, if there's one thing I think President Trump is good at doing, is doing exactly that, putting others on the offensive. I think that you're 100% correct. He's assembled quite the team when it comes to cyber tech anything. When you got Elon on your side, I think that he can figure out some ways to make sure he's going to hold China accountable and probably scare the crap out of them too. Let's talk about these newly released 2013 photos from the National Archives obtained by America First Legal, appearing to show Joe Biden introducing Hunter to Xi on an official government trip in Beijing, and then apparently taking the time to meet Hunter's new business partners. What do you make of this? Gordon, what are your thoughts?
Oh, well, certainly Joe Biden has lied to the American people about never having any contact with Hunter about his business dealings with China. And so here, this is an issue of accountability. I guess they believe that because Biden is on his way out, that nothing will happen. But we got to remember that Hunter Biden now has a full pardon. That means he can't claim the protections of the Fifth Amendment if there is a federal grand jury. And I do hope that Kash Patel, when he heads the FBI, the first thing that he does is start issuing subpoenas to Hunter, because we need to learn a lot about money. This money leaves a trail. We should be able to find it out. The FBI is great at this stuff. I think that they should start acting vigorously and start to find out where all this money went.
Yeah, well, if under Kash's leadership, if the FBI stops investigating parents and calling them domestic terrorists and actually does their job, what they're good at and trained for, then I think that they will be able to follow the money and find a whole lot of corruption that took place over the last 4, 8, 10 years. How long was Hunter's pardon? Let's talk China buying up U.S. farmland all over the country. Many locations are uncomfortably close to key military sites. What are they doing, and why do you think that they're doing this, Steve?
Well, this is something that really has caught fire in the grassroots over the last couple of years. Chinese Communist Party affiliated entities have been buying up strategic land for some time, but legislatures and governors' offices around the country started noticing this, expressing concern, and trying to pass legislation to keep adversaries of the United States from being able to do this. China is not the only adversary we should watch out for. But if you overlay, as you were verbally suggesting, a map of where missile silos are, key military bases are, and where these ag land purchases are, there's a conspicuous high correlation. Now, if you just take the story we had not that long ago about drone swarms, or we take other kinds of stories about Chinese nationals conspicuously, accidentally trying to enter military bases and getting turned away, what you find is a persistent effort to gather, observe, and be prepared potentially to sabotage. And so I think it's been an important movement in a lot of our rural states to guard against this. I know that the new incoming team is going to make it a federal government priority to cooperate and empower the locals to be able to do better.
Yeah, they will. And can you imagine if we had this happening and we had a Kamala Harris and Tim Walz that was going to be taking the Oval Office? Oh, my goodness. That would not be a good thing. Gordon Chang, Steve Yates, thank you, gentlemen, so much for joining this evening, and Happy New Year to both of you.
Happy New Year.
You know, everybody's reporting the same stories, the same spin. You turn the channel, it's always the same. But not us. We're different. We report the real news. No spin, just the facts. Turn to us, and you won't turn back.
Tune in to Rob Schmitt tonight on Newsmax.